Well, thanks for that introduction. I won't follow that with my own. So the community and the consortium. This is the general landscape. It's a little bit complicated, as you might see, but each of these circles interacts in slightly different ways depending on who you are and who you're working with. The Folger Shakespeare Library is a small independent research library, so from that you can tell that you don't necessarily need to be a Stanford or a national library to be a part of this community. We are one of the founding members of the IIIF Consortium. We are also institutional adopters of IIIF, and we work with our vendors and software firms to develop the tools that we need for IIIF. They are also open source software. And then slightly on a different level, we're involved in the community groups and also in the technical review committee. So you can see that as one institution, you can have a lot of different roles and you can participate in a lot of different ways. The community groups are 3D, archives, manuscripts, museums, newspapers, outreach, and software developers. The newest here are 3D and archives, with archives, I believe, being established within the past year. These are built on special interests that everybody in the community has, and when we have more interests, we develop more groups. The same can be said for the technical specification groups. These are AV, as Andy just went over, discovery, text granularity, and then potentially more. You can see more use cases on GitHub at that link. These groups, both technical specification groups and community groups, are based on mutual respect and inclusion. This is a thread throughout the entire community. And we have a commitment to sharing our expertise, effort, and engagement, which is why we've developed them. So these are forums to share work and demos. We have regular calls in many of the community groups where people share demos of what their institution is working on. You can participate or lurk in as many of these groups as interest you. I know I've done a lot of lurking in a lot of different community calls myself. We at the Folger contribute to the museums and have contributed to the outreach committees. There's no limit on the number of committees you can call into or participate in. And then if you can't participate in them or aren't ready to, we make videos available in many cases. And there are also notes on Google Drive and in Slack. The IIIF Consortium is an open, community-powered framework. The mission is to provide sustainability and steering for IIIF. This means these really fun things like funding, partners, staff, agreements, intellectual property, and more. There are 50 institutional founding members. There are more members of the consortium now. I did not get a final number on that. We don't have that. 52. Okay, so there are a lot of consortium committees here, the executive committee coordinating. The newest one is the technical review committee, which reviews technical proposals and use cases and ratifies technical specifications for those new use cases. Consortial business, as I mentioned, the technical review committee was founded recently, initiated recently. We recently opened up new tiers of membership in 2018. And we're trying to do things like bolster the value to everybody who's involved. And we're looking for more partners with institutions that aren't necessarily cultural heritage or GLAMs. And then we're working on complementary projects and new frontiers. So a little bit about the new technical review committee. It's committed, as all of the committees are, to openness and transparency. And this means that the issues that we discuss and the decisions that we make are available to everybody, even if you're not a member of the consortium or you're not a member of the technical review committee. Membership is made up of the ex officio group, the consortium, and 5 community members. And the purpose, as I mentioned, is to review new specifications that come from the technical specification groups or editorial committee, to review the specification cookbook entries. The cookbook, I believe, is just a set of recipes which equal the specifications or the use cases. And then they also work on new technical specification groups. You can learn more at that link. And again, democratically, the decisions are made by general consensus, so we all vote every time there is an issue. I think you've seen this slide before. You've seen something like it. Here are the different communications channels. One of the easiest ones to get involved in probably is Slack, although you can also follow along on Twitter. You don't have to be interested in reading API specifications in order to contribute. If you're interested in going to GitHub, you may, of course, but if you are not technical or technologically oriented, you can certainly check out Slack or email. All right, so you can start small. You can follow along with the demos in the community calls. You can ask a question in one of the Slack channels. People are very helpful there. And it's easy to work your way up to greater involvement. And it's been very rewarding for the Folger, at least in particular. One other thing that I want to mention here is there's a growing number of local events that are being organized. The Folger itself ran a local event with a number of institutions in Washington, D.C., and it really helped us understand more directly what other institutions in our neighborhood are doing, particularly if not everybody can attend one of the larger meetings, or you just sort of, I don't know, we don't always see our neighbors. So having a local event is really enlightening, and we have shared our experiences and collection items. The local Washington, D.C. group is going to hopefully put up a IIIF collection of items from all of those institutions to sort of highlight what every institution is doing in the neighborhood. One other thing I will say about that event is that it was a great opportunity for us to share with people who aren't implementers, who aren't working with IIIF or necessarily going to be working in IIIF, and also aren't decision makers, but people who can take information about IIIF to their decision makers, so advocates for these kinds of things. And that may also be an important part of getting IIIF at your institution. So, share, join the calls, lead a group, run a local event. And then you can learn more here. Thank you.